Wow, it's Amazon Prime Day. This is one of the key points in any seller's year. So many sellers will have this period highlighted. I kind of don't know why they call it Prime Day. It's technically like Prime Week. It goes on near enough the entirety of a working week, and then when it ends, like some things will still remain on sale. So they might as well just call it Prime Week, in my opinion. But anyway, this is one of those moments that you literally wait for, and when it comes, it's awesome. So no doubt you'll have prepared for Prime Day. If you're new to selling on Amazon, this is one of those key points that you need to highlight in your calendar and get ready for. So if you just missed out this year, don't worry, there'll be plenty more opportunities for the remainder of the year. So, make some notes on certain events that are going to come up in both an Amazon sense and a like specific Amazon sense. So like, for example, Christmas, Halloween, and so forth. Those events and finding things for those events is your key to finding new and fresh opportunities to help you grow your Amazon business. Now, how can we have the best Prime Day ever with the help of Profit Protector Pro? So the one thing with Prime Day is that obviously, as I say, lots of sellers have highlighted this event. They've got it in their calendars, they've had it in their calendars, they prepared lots of things for this specific period because they're going to expect a lot more busyness, because Amazon gets an even bigger influx of visitors. Therefore, your chances of making sales, making more money, the chances of that are a lot higher than usual. So this is one of those important periods, and we want to make sure that this week runs as smoothly as possible. Now, I've got a couple of tips for you. I've got 3 tips for you that will help you with repricing during this period. Now, the first thing I want to mention is strategy. Lots of people are going to be working very hard to increase their buy box possession. So we need to take a bit more of a competitive, a bit more of an aggressive stance. I think you know what I'm going to say here. I highly recommend changing, it doesn't have to be all of your listings, but changing at least some of your listings where you feel like they're going to be popular this Prime Day. To be fair, anything's got the chance to be popular, but maybe you've got an inkling as to some of your inventory that stands more of a chance of being popular this Prime Day, Prime Week. So I would recommend maybe switching up your strategy to a more aggressive one if you haven't done so already. I would say anything from the super aggressive dominator to the balanced sales accumulator is the best fit for this period. We need to really ramp it up in order to compete with those others that are going to be trying very hard for the buy box, so that way we can make sure that we are in with a bigger chance of getting a hold of that buy box and raking in some of those sales that are going to be coming our way this Prime Week. So aggressive strategies balanced at a push. Remember, if you are fulfilling anything yourself, maybe you've run your own promotion on like your own items or something like that, or things that you are fulfilling yourself, you want that edge still. So I'd recommend using the MF aggressive sales generator or MF balanced sales accumulator for anything that is FBM. Obviously, just because it's a bit more fine-tuned towards that fulfillment method. Otherwise, if it's FBA stuff, super aggressive sales generator, balanced sales, those are your key strategies this Prime Week. Now, my next tip for you is, if you haven't set up or are using any automations, like now is the time. Anytime is a good time to set up an automation. I love this feature. I love the fact that it saves you basically a load of effort and time, because it will just do something for you when a certain scenario occurs. So I'd heavily urge you to just try an automation if you haven't done so already. It's not going to harm anything. It's basically a plan B on your listing, and it just means that you have got less to do. Like, no doubt you'll be quite busy this Prime Week. So to give yourself one less thing to do, try an automation. So when a certain scenario occurs, it will perform an action that you choose. Now, there's a number of scenarios here that would definitely come true, that we might want to account for this Prime Week. One of the examples I've gone for here is when no sales have occurred for, and now that the ability to have it done by minutes as opposed to days, weeks or months is really powerful. So, with the busyness of Prime Day, of Prime Week, we need to be on the ball, and we need to make sure that we are grasping at any and every opportunity to get in and make some sales. So maybe, after this is basically 3 hours, so 60, 120, 180, that's 3 hours. After 180 minutes, and if no sales have occurred, we're going to decrease our price by 50p, 50 cents, whatever. It doesn't have to be that much. Obviously, you know your inventory better than me, so you need to make sure if you are doing something like that, the amount there isn't going to eat into your margin too much, isn't going to put you at risk of selling for break even or anything like that. So obviously you'll know that a lot better than me. It could be that you want to just go right in and match like the low FBA seller or something like that. Whatever it is that you want to do, there's a number of scenarios, a number of actions that will sit very well this Prime Day, this Prime Week. And, even beyond this, now is a great time to use automations and, see how much they can really help you. And I am super confident you'll be using them past Prime Day if this is your first time using them. So try your hand at an automation. They're really easy to set up. And tip number 3, I would recommend that you get your notifications on. Okay, you can obviously set your notification preferences over in your My Account settings. If you want to be notified here, if you want to be notified, via an email, like however it is that you want to be notified, I would recommend that you have some of these on, at least, things like this. So notify me when the minimum is higher than the buy box, when the maximum is lower than the buy box. You want to be making sure that your parameters are competitive still. So anything where this applies, you'll be notified about. If you're out of stock, and you can get in and do a really quick replenishment if that's possible. That might be handy to know. Notify me when stock is below however many. All of these notifications are quite useful in terms of specifically for Prime Day, Prime Week. These two won't be as important because obviously you don't need to worry about a skew age this week. And when you've not made a sale, if you've made an automation, you're already accounting for that in sort of less time. So you could say it's 1 day here if you wanted to, but these 4 I would say are the more important ones, and will just help keep you informed about what's going on in your inventory, what's going on with your stuff. So notifications, automations, aggressive repricing strategies, using these things will help you this Prime Day, this Prime Week. Hopefully this video helped. Have a fantastic week. I wish you the very, very best with your sales and with your profits. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.